Iran is trying to hold the world hostage at this point by threatening everybody, trying to stop Israel from retaliating against it for the attack that took place on October 1st. Iran is really scared of what is about to take place. And I would still say that it's a certainty, all but a certainty, that Israel is going to respond against Iran in a forceful way, in a kinetic way, very soon. Now, if they don't, that will tell us just how much sway the United States has over Israel, because Israel is bound and determined now to respond, and the United States is doing everything it can. The Biden administration is doing everything it can to keep it from responding. It's a fierce battle at the highest levels between the Biden administration and Netanyahu. Netanyahu gave a speech directed at the people of Iran. This was interesting. He's done this a couple times in the recent history, where he's spoken to the people of the nations that they're at war with. So just before they went into Lebanon, he gave a speech directed to the Lebanese people, telling them, Hezbollah is not your friend. You need to rise up. You need to throw them off. And we're going to help you by weakening them as much as we can. But we don't have a fight with you. That was his message to the people of Lebanon. Also his message to the people of Iran. Just a couple days ago, with this speech he gave, he condemned Iran's leadership for prioritizing the fight against Israel over the welfare of its own people. He said, quote, every day you see a regime that subjugates you make fiery speeches about defending Lebanon, defending Gaza, adding that the Iranian government was plunging the region deeper into darkness and deeper into war. He spoke very clearly about the fact that the IDF does not have a problem with the Iranian people, and they would love nothing more than to see the regime come down so that the Persian people can recover their country. He said, imagine if all the vast money that the regime is wasting on nuclear weapons program, wars in foreign countries, was instead invested in the kids' education, healthcare, infrastructure, water and sewage, and all the other things that the Iranians need. Just imagine what Iran could look like. What he's trying to do is convince the Iranian people that what is about to happen is going to be meant to assist the Iranian people and not harm the Iranian people, even if it hurts. Netanyahu said, quote, when Iran is finally free, and that moment will come a lot sooner than people think, our two ancient peoples, the Jewish people and the Persian people, will finally be at peace. Our two countries, Israel and Iran, will be at peace. Now, many people don't realize that Iran and Israel have not always been enemies. As a matter of fact, up until the Shah of Iran was deposed back in the 1980s, Iran and Israel were allies. And Netanyahu is saying that they can be again. He's just appealing to the people of Iran to rise up and throw off this theocratic dictatorship that they've been living under, and hinting that there might not be any better time than soon, because the IDF is going to be doing something specifically to bring that regime down. Now, some people have even said that it's possible that what they might be about to do is to actually strike at the Ayatollah Khamenei. Now, it's a unwritten rule, or in some cases written rule, that you don't go after the leaders of a country. The United States said, I think during the Reagan administration, that they would not target the leaders of any country for assassination, because then that kind of opens us up to our leaders being targeted for assassination as well. We have seen in the recent weeks and months that as Donald Trump has been targeted not once, not twice, but potentially 3 times because of a bomb that they found near one place he was going to be. And they know that some plots to take out Donald Trump were fostered by the Iranians. So we know that the Iranians don't have much of a problem with taking out another country's leaders, especially if it is somebody that might not play well with them. We haven't seen anything about them planning to take out Joe Biden because Joe Biden has been a good friend to Iran. Let's talk about UNIFIL. UNIFIL, the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon, has been around since 1978. Their job, first of all, they're stationed, it's about 10,000 troops from around the world. It's dozens of countries that contribute forces to this. The United States is not one of them because they don't want U.S. forces along that border. But you have forces from Indonesia and Ireland and China and garden spots like that who make up UNIFIL. Their mandate is to patrol south of the Litani River. It's a 75-mile corridor, 75 miles wide and about 18 miles deep, to patrol that area and make sure that Hezbollah does not move military forces into that area and that Israel doesn't move military forces into that area. Since 1978, they've been spectacularly failing at that job, doing an absolutely bang-up job of doing nothing and spending lots of money. They get about $480 million a year, just UNIFIL, just that organization, to do their nothing in the most profanely expensive way possible. The U.S. taxpayer funds about $125 million a year of that mission. And they have done exactly bupkis to fulfill their mission and keep Hezbollah out and keep there from being conflict along that border. There have been several times where they have been not just accused, but actually caught assisting Hezbollah rather than stopping them. And it's said that the UNIFIL forces have to clear any patrol that they do with Hezbollah, and then Hezbollah tells them which roads they can travel, which areas they are allowed to look at, and which areas they are not. And the UNIFIL bases along the border with Israel make very handy places from which to fire munitions at Israel, because then Israel can't fire back without the fear of hitting UN troops. So you can imagine it's just great. It just keeps getting better. So when Israel decided it was time to go into Lebanon last week and actually start routing these rats out of their holes and force them to get back north of the Litani River and decimate their leadership, they found tons of explosives, missiles, munitions, weapons, and tunnels going across the border into Israel. The headquarters where Hassan Nasrallah was eliminated in Dahia neighborhood south of Beirut. Oh yeah, it was under a UN school. One of the 6-story buildings that was taken out by the bunker busters that they dropped 80-something tons of them on top of that area in order to get Hassan Nasrallah. One of the 6-story buildings was a UN school. Why am I not surprised? The IDF has been pushing in there, starting small and then working their way up. They've been conducting hundreds of air strikes into Lebanon every day, deep into Lebanon, way even far north of Beirut, conducting all these airstrikes. And what does UNIFIL do? UNIFIL starts putting out messaging like, this is very bad. They shouldn't be here. We need a ceasefire. They're destroying the local villages. And it actually turns out it's a lot like Gaza in that pretty much every building has been militarized by Hezbollah. And Israel has a real habit of destroying the buildings that are a threat to Israel. If they have a missile array inside their living room, Israel tends to bulldoze buildings like that or cause them to spontaneously combust. They've been going house to house and doing it all across the border for more than a week now. What does UNIFIL do? That wrings its hands, lights its hair on fire, runs around in circles and starts screaming about how Israel is the problem here. No surprise then that Israel advised UNIFIL that it might be a good idea for them to take a vacation. Go somewhere else while we clean things up and do the job you haven't done since the 1970s. They refused to leave. And surprise, surprise, when it turns out that Hezbollah is acting from near one of the UNIFIL bases and the Israelis shoot at those bad people, then some UNIFIL troops get wounded. And I tell you what, this is exactly what Hezbollah has been waiting for. And probably UNIFIL for that matter. Because now they get, the Israelis they're wounding our brave UN soldiers. Really? Anybody can plainly see that the UNIFIL sees its mission as protecting Hezbollah. They don't even hide it anymore. A third grader could see this. This is your tax dollars at work if you live in the Western world. I've been doing this job as a war correspondent for more than 20 years, and I have never seen a UN peacekeeping force that actually kept the peace. They're toothless, and they're worse than worthless because they actually end up exacerbating the problem that they're meant to address. It's not just UNRWA, UNIFIL, UNDOF in Syria. It's not just MINUSTA in Haiti. It's like every place I've ever been where there's a UN peacekeeping force, that force makes it worse. Because these people, these UN peacekeepers, they're coming from Sierra Leone. Yeah, let's get some peacekeepers in here from Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone doesn't know what peace looks like. They have no idea. They've never seen anything like it. Worse than worthless. That is the most charitable thing that I can say about the United Nations writ large. This is the end-all and be-all of their existence for the United Nations. Every fiber of their being is about trying to destroy Israel. It's mind-boggling. So thank you very much for watching. I pray that you'll have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned.